Greetings everyone and welcome to the UkeStuff channel. And what I'm about to do is to show you 5 different sets of strings on this ukulele. It's the Flight NUB310 ukulele. So the first set of strings that you're going to hear are Flight's sort of nylon, Nyltech standard GCEA for baritone, which really took me by surprise to play it. I know some people like baritone in GCEA, not my favorite. So anyway, I wanted to try some other strings, and we did that. So then you'll hear Aquila Super Nylguts, or I think they just call them New Nylguts on baritone. Then you'll hear the Dario Nyltech, which is basically the same product, a little different, but basically the same idea. Then the Dario Titaniums, and then finally these Living Waters. So this I'm actually filming at the end of the whole process as an intro. So hopefully it's helpful, and you can hear how different strings impact an instrument. Okay, it has been a week or so, and I have been running the Aquila. This is their standard Baritone DGBE tuning. And I really like them so far. Again, I'm not a big fan of the squeaky strings, but again, it comes with the territory unless you're going to go all fluorocarbon, and then you get kind of thicker. Some observations: they tie on just fine. They fit in the nut without any alteration of the nut, so these strings work just fine. And I think they really make the instrument sound nice. So let's do the normal sound samples. And the sustain now is forever, especially on the 2 low metal strings. And there you have it. The Aquila Super Nylgut, or just their normal Nylgut baritone strings, they work very well with this instrument. Now it's time for some other strings. Alright, this is string set number 3. The original were the GCEA strings that are the Flight nylon strings. Then we moved on to the Aquila, their Super Nylgut, or their Nylgut baritone strings, DGBE. Now we're looking at the Dario. This is their Nyltech. So basically all 3 are basically the same sort of product. That white string, but when you get to the baritone, both the D and the G strings are wound. And ultimately, the instrument responds well to these strings, just like it did to the Aquila Super Nylgut strings. So I'll let you take a listen to what's going on here. of sustain. Especially from the wound strings. All right, and here we go. Yeah, again, I like them a lot. They work well. Again, I'm not a fan of the squeaks on the strings, but that's typical of most baritone strings. They sound good with the instrument. The instrument seems to accept them very well. No modification of the nut was necessary. So next will come the D'Addario Titanium strings. Hi there, and welcome to string set number 4. These are the D'Addario Titaniums. I forgot to save the packaging for it. Ultimately, what you have are 2 wound strings and then the purplish hue titanium strings. And I'll talk about it in a second, but let me let you hear what it sounds like. Lots of sustain. Now, the buzzing that you hear is not a high fret or whatever action related. That's my own problems with my fretting, and that's partly because of the strings. I was much happier with the Aquila Nylgut. I was much happier with the D'Addario, their Nyltech strings. Here's what I found out about the titanium for me on the baritone. I do have some other ukuleles that have the titanium strings on them. In particular, my Flight Spirit, I believe, does, and does an ukulele called the Horse Ukulele by Lot Music. And I like those strings. I like them on the concert instruments that they're on, so I thought for sure I was going to like this. Well, here's the deal. The titanium strings are a little bit thicker than the other strings, and then by the time that you wind them with a metal wound string, those get pretty substantial and also firmer. So you get a really weird feeling with these. Very stiff on strings 4 and 3 and sort of comfortable. I would like them if they were all titanium all the way across the board, I think, even if they were thicker yet. But that weird metal, more flexible, I don't like. And it wasn't as true, didn't feel as weird on the Aquila, the Nyltech, or the D'Addario, same company as the titanium, the D'Addario Nylgut, or the Nyltech, sorry, I want to say the right one. So that's what I'm finding with these, and I really can't wait to get these off of the instrument so I can put on the final set of strings that I'm going to put on, which are the Living Water baritone strings, all fluorocarbon, low D, and I am probably going to modify the nut. The other thing I wanted to point out is that this string, the 4th string here with the titanium, just barely fits in there. So I may have to, with the Baritone Living Waters, actually widen that nut. And if you ever do that, usually it's, if you don't want to risk it yourself, you take it to a luthier. But if you do it yourself, you need to make sure that you widen it a little bit without widening it too much, and you don't want to make it deeper. So you just want to widen it a little bit. So there's ways to do that, but that'll be the next step. So the next time you'll see this instrument is with the Living Water strings on it. And I cannot say that I endorse the D'Addario and titanium strings on baritone. I like them fine on concert, not baritone. All right, these are the living water strings, and they're the last set that I put on this instrument. Now, there's a couple things that I really like about them. I like the fact that there are no metal wound strings, and I like the uniformity of feel that Ken Middleton put in finding these strings so that they feel like they're the same tension. Also, I like the fact that when you play a chord and you have sustain, they're all ringing, unlike the wound strings, where the wound string, in particular, the G string on the wound strings would really ring on this instrument. This is much more balanced. I think it does lose a touch of sustain, but overall it's a warmer sound. It's nicer for me to play, and I really like it. Now again, that's totally subjective. You may like the Aquila strings, you may like the D'Addario strings, you may like the D'Addario titanium strings. And in fact, there was a recent post of somebody buying titanium strings for the baritone, and it was amazing how people were like, I love them. And I just had to write and say, boy, the titaniums were my least favorite of the strings that I tried. So anyway, if you're interested in these, they're available a few places. You can definitely order them from Ken Middleton. He's in the UK, so you have to wait for shipping. Sometimes the Uke Republic has them in stock, sometimes they don't. And I don't know of anybody else that carries the living water strings. They do cost a bit more, but hopefully they last you long enough and you get good use out of them. I like them a lot, and I will continue using them on my baritones because I think they're great. So I hope this comparison of actually now 5 different sets of strings is useful to you, and you can hear how it changes an instrument. And I do think this instrument is so much more relaxed. Oh, by the way, are there any negatives about these strings? Sometimes I might get a little bit of extra string slap because there's just not the tension, the really super strong tension. I mean, it feels about the same all the way across. But yeah, you could say that sometimes there's a little more string slap or string play as you're playing, but that doesn't bother me at all. I kind of like that sound and feel, especially more than going squeak, squeak as I play. So I hope you're having a great day, and I will be back soon with some more Uke stuff for you.